Hello and welcome to Janette's TV. I'm your host, Janette Burke. We are live on location at the Toronto Fall Home Show. And this time we're talking about Laneway homes with Emmanuel.
Bellevaux.
This is my second interview with you 5 years later.
I know, and you have grown so much.
And so have you.
Thank you.
So congratulations.
Thank
you.
It's great.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
So we're standing in front of a mock here of EvaLanes homes. And there's a whole story about it, and I want to hear all about it. It has to do with your mom, right?
It does, yeah. So Eva is short for Evangeline, which is my mother's name. And the reason why I did that was because a long time ago, my mother really wanted to get into real estate, and my dad would not support her with that. He would say, be content with what you have, God will provide the rest. And there was no room for her investing or doing anything else. A few years ago, she bought a house to invest into real estate. Unfortunately, some things had happened. It had mold in it. There were some major expenses to deal with it. So when I got involved in doing this, like, you know what? I'm creating a new company. I'm going to name it after my mom because she's going to get into real estate development whether she likes it or not. So we're going to get it done. So that's what we're doing. That's why it's called EvaLanes.
That's a great honorary thing that you did for your mom. Obviously, your mom wanted to be an entrepreneur.
She did. Well, my mother is an entrepreneur. She always has been. She's been very, very smart, very handy. She taught me all about being entrepreneurial, doing what you had to do to get things done, always looking for opportunities, and that was her. A funny thing, though, is that when I told her the name of the company, and I said it was EvaLanes, and I said, it's Eva, and she still didn't know what it meant, and I'm like, it's Evangeline, and she's like, oh, that is so nice of you. It was so cute. Anyway,
That's cute.
Yeah.
Oh, so getting back to the actual Laneway Suites, they represent a great way for young families to be able to have a home, possibly on their parents' lot. With the rising costs of living in Toronto, maybe it's the only way they can do that. So how would they know if they could do that? Like, what are some of the factors in terms of the sizing, and is there like restrictions for policies in the government and paying, your property taxes and that sort of thing?
That's a great question. There are guidelines as to whether or not you would qualify for a Laneway Suite. There are ample reasons to want to do it. It could be a nanny suite, a granny suite. It could be an in-law suite in the backyard. It could also be a rental property in the backyard. But in order to qualify, you must be on a legal lane in the city of Toronto. That's anywhere from Scarborough to Etobicoke, all the way up to North York. Okay, so you're on a legal lane, and there are a couple of other requirements that are based on building code, based on the Ontario Building Code, which have to do with making sure that you are within a certain distance to a public street to get access to emergency services. So once you qualify and have all those things, they have what they call an as-of-right Laneway Suite program, which means if you qualify as of right, as in you have the guidelines, it's a 10-day permit process after your design phase. And we do that. So we can come and we assess the lot to make sure you qualify, we design it, and we build it for you. And we can provide the financing.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, women are also looking for investments in property, and in fact are maybe even more into investing in property than men.
Yeah.
Given that they're, making more money as CEOs and their own companies, running their own, leading small business. So what are some of the considerations for women that you think about when you're designing your home? Like, for example, a lot of women like space, and they like, room for their shoes and their clothes
I get where you're
and
going
their
with this.
accessories.
Right.
Are you going to be able to measure up and provide that for us?
Absolutely.
So let's address the investment part first, and then the...
Sure. So from an investment perspective, what's really interesting about this is that right now, have you heard of co-sharing or co-ownership?
I've heard of it, but I don't do it.
Yeah, so really, a really popular thing right now is, and we're seeing a lot in women over 40, single women over 40, are co-sharing or co-owning a lot or a property with another woman. And what happens is they'll buy a house, they'll turn it into a duplex, one will own one half, one will own the other. Laneway Suites, from an investment perspective, offer something that's really different from those situations because each person can have their own house. So now you have instead of a single woman or a small family going in with their limited income to buy a lot in the city, now you can have more than two couples come in and put their income together to qualify for a mortgage to buy a property. And now one can own one house and one can own the other. Now, to address your question around space, there is this idea, this misnomer, if you will, that a Laneway Suite is a tiny home. A tiny home is 400 square feet and below. A Laneway Suite is anywhere from 800 square feet and up. So we can build up to 1,700 square feet as long as your lot will allow it.
Wow, so that's almost the size of a small townhouse or a condo.
Absolutely.
So are you saying you can put in extra closets?
Yes, absolutely. And
like for storage, what not just for clothes and shoes, but like the brooms and all that stuff.
Yeah, what makes a smaller space really convenient is when you create customized millwork to hide everything. We do broom closets. I'm doing a closet right now for a client of mine. It's a 36-inch deep pull-out closet, and we're hanging her Dyson on the wall inside of this closet so we can tuck it away and keep everything clean and tidy. So yeah, custom millwork, storage underneath staircases, storage in bulkheads, great way to keep things hidden.
But also getting back to the investment side. So let's say you live in one and you buy another one, like a rental property, for cash flow. What's the projections on that?
So let me address from an investment conversation. It's really simple. The competition to a Laneway Suite out there right now would probably be a two-bedroom condo. A two-bedroom condo in Toronto, the average square footage price is between $1,000 to $1,500 a square foot. If the average two-bedroom condo is 800 square feet, which is a bit high, you're looking at paying $800,000 for a two-bedroom condo. If you rent that out, you're going to get about $3,000 a month rent in Toronto. We can build a 1,000 square foot Laneway Suite in your backyard for around $400,000. That's half the price of buying a condo, and you will rent it out for $3,000 a month. So you can see right away your returns are far more significant in a Laneway Suite than they would be in a house. Now here's a really cool thing you can't do with a condo. If you build yourself a brand new house in your backyard, you can move into it and then rent out your house where you'll make more money on. Right?
Or use it as an Airbnb investment.
Absolutely. So if you Airbnb a Laneway Suite in Toronto, and particularly some of the more established neighborhoods, you're going to bring in that $6,000, $7,000 a month in renting out, getting the average of $280 a night on a really cool Laneway Suite. You're making really good money on a monthly basis. Now, what I'm saying is that imagine if you rent your house out. So you turn your house into a duplex, you yourself move into your Laneway Suite, rent out your duplex, you're going to make more money in a duplex than on your Laneway Suite, which will pay back your investment even faster.
Okay, last question. So, millennials today, right? They're having a lot of difficulty getting ahead because they can't afford Toronto housing, or even just out of Toronto is getting expensive too with the overflow mass exodus.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So what advice do you have, or what tips can you share for a millennial who's trying to, get started and have a life and maybe start a family in a Laneway home? Is it suitable as a suite?
I think, yeah, it absolutely is. I think statistically speaking right now, the average income from millennials is between $38,000 and $42,000 a year, and they have the average mortgage power of about $204,000. You put two millennials together, that's $404,000. A Laneway Suite builds for around $400,000. So imagine you take two millennials that get their parents and go, hey, mom, dad, you have a lot, you're on a Laneway. Can we build a Laneway Suite in your backyard? The four of them go into the bank, they get remortgaged the lot, and now the kids can build a Laneway Suite in the backyard. That's how you can extend generational living in Toronto, where you can have the parents in one house and the kids in another house. Now, kids don't have to come back home and live in your house. They can live in your backyard in their own house that they built themselves.
That's got to be living in the basement, right?
For sure.
And so this is a huge trend, obviously a lot of interest. Where do you see it going from here?
Oh, wow. Well, I think what's great about any program that starts is when a program first starts, it's not going to be perfect. And we're definitely not a perfect program, the Laneway Suite program here in Toronto. But it is adaptable. It is changing. So as more people get interested in building their own Laneway Suite in their backyard, it's going to increase the demand for Laneway Suites, and it's going to start to change the way we deal with services around that, so more people can qualify for a Laneway Suite.
And do you think the real estate developers are going to get jumping on this?
So from a real estate development perspective, right now, the people who really benefit the most from Laneway Suite development are people who currently own a Laneway lot. So if you own a lot, you really have free land in your backyard that you can build a house on for a third of a cost of going out and buying a condo, okay? Let's keep it that way. If you are an investor, it means you're out there right now looking for Laneway lots to purchase them. If you're a savvy investor, you're buying them today. The reason being is that over the next 2-3 years, as people get educated on buying laneway lots because there's an increased value in them, lots are going to start artificially increasing in value. And even lots that don't qualify will probably likely start to increase in value because there's an assumption that things will change in the future.
Okay, lots of great info. I'm going to close this off. Give me one last tip and then move right into the shameless promotion of how we can reach it.
Well, let me do that first. You can reach me at www.evalanes.com. What I would say is this: we build luxurious suites in your backyard. That's who EvaLanes is. And if you are a property owner and you own a laneway lot, put a Laneway Suite in your backyard, because we have a 0.7% vacancy situation here in Toronto, so you'll immediately rent it out. If you can't afford to do it, there are plenty of people out there who would like to lease your land off you and do that, and they will pay you a monthly fee to lease your land so they can put their house in your backyard. So there really are ways to strategize this and do this here in Toronto.
It sounds amazing and like a really good way to build income.
Absolutely.
And wealth. Build wealth. Yeah.
Well, building wealth, absolutely.
Okay, well, ladies and men, and ladies too, if you're a single mama, whatever, and you want to build wealth for you and your family, these are new concepts of investments and real estate properties that are certainly worth looking at. Now, tell us how we can reach you.
You can reach me at hello@evalanes.com or go to www.evalanes.com.
Thanks so much for being with us, and thank you for being with us. Please remember to like, comment, and share all our posts with the other fabulous women in your life and even the smart men. You will find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, Google+, Vimeo, YouTube, you name it, we're there. #Janette's TV. And until next time, this is Janette, Burke, your host, signing off. Be fabulous.